welcome to episode 2 of Depths of Gaming. I am Necroscourge. Lord of awkward intros. And this is...
Yes, you're giving yourselves too much credit.
Oh, I don't think you're giving me enough credit.
Hello! So, what do we have in the news today?
Oh, the typical thing. People getting way too excited about video games.
Oh, of course. Because, video games can influence your behavior, right?
Yeah, it's well known that if you play a video game for 1 hour a day, you become a psycho killer.
Yeah. Speaking about killing, something happened in Conan.
Yes, it did. Now, yep, it's going. Alright, so YouTubers fighting over destroyed bases in Conan Exiles. This is an article written on Kotaku by Cecilia, and this is about two YouTubers that decided to take the unspoken rules of Conan Exiles to the breaking point. So the thing about Conan Exiles is it's generally accepted that everyone is kind of out to get each other, and you're allowed, and it's generally accepted that you can attack other people's bases and try to kill people. Sort of a Wild West type deal. So this YouTuber Faceless, he managed to get in the beta as a YouTuber, I believe, and he set up on this YouTuber only server. He does this, and then he gets the brilliant idea to jack up his viewer count by saying that he attacked H2O Delirious's base, who's a really...
That he attacked, or that he's going to attack it?
No, that he's attacking it. He made a video saying, I'm attacking Delirious's base, and it shows him attacking it. And so at first, Delirious released a message saying that wasn't even his base, and it's nothing. However, I think people from Faceless's side just kept bothering him. So he finally reacted by grabbing, I would assume, a few of his friends, and they went over and they broke the shit out of his base.
Faceless's base.
Because Faceless had set up this giant MTV Cribs style base that was just massive. It had skylights and furnaces and huge chests and stuff like that. And they'd never seen another person on the server until then. So
makes sense.
So it was completely unmolested. And then they log on, Faceless does, and he makes a video entitled Our Last Video that's essentially just him looking at the wreckage going, They destroyed everything. It's gone. They destroyed everything. I can't believe it. And it just never stops to amaze me how shocked people get when the tables get turned.
Yeah, it's a syndrome of basically, I can hit you, but you cannot hit me. That's the general idea.
The whole deal about being a YouTuber is you feel like you can't be touched, because YouTubers in this country get away with a lot of crazy shit. Like there's that Billy the Fridge dude who who actually committed assault on a live stream on the Drunken Peasants like a month ago. He dribbled piss on one of the guys, and that's assault. That's just illegal.
Well, one, that's probably not nice, and secondly, that's spreading biological hazards around. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's assault, but that's definitely illegal use of a bioweapon.
Well, here's the thing: is Google says it's assault. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but I let's put it this way: if a cop would arrest you for doing it, it's probably illegal.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know about YouTubers that think themselves of to be of a higher sort than the rest of the people, but what I do know is that when Faceless actually made his declaration that he's going to attack someone, he had to realize that there's going to be like repercussions, right? There's going to be a counterattack, or at least a preemptive attack. I refuse to believe that the guy managed to create some sort of cult following on YouTube and not realize something like that. I kind of refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
From my point of view, it might have been a publicity stunt. On the other hand, it's also him not really understanding the general idea behind the Conan world.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire world of Conan is the entire place is shit.
Yeah, it's just eternal struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Eternal struggle.
It's an eternal struggle. No one kind of is going to help you. No one's going to. Everyone's looking for their own skin, and if something bad happens to you, you have to tough it up. Grow some balls and deal with it. You can't just, for example, Conan himself. His village was slaughtered. His parents died on basically on his eyes. He was kidnapped, sold into slavery, and he didn't cried, "Oh, woe is me! What a horrible fate has befallen upon me." No, he toughened it up. He killed his slaver and moved in to have an adventure.
Yeah. Because the issue with Conan Exiles is everyone saw the dick slider and the boobies and went, "Oh, it's just another typical survival game." And no, people are getting really, really into it. So, of course, there's going to be casuals that run in there and go, "Oh, look at me! I'm a super popular YouTuber with 30,000 subscribers. I'm going to attack one of the best YouTubers out there and think nothing's bad's going to happen at all." Yeah.
Well, we don't know what he thought.
Well, it wasn't anything that amazing because he got his ass kicked.
Yeah. At least he did got his lesson.
See, I'm not entirely sure he learned a lesson from all this. I mean, when you post a video that's called the last video or our last video, whatever, he's trying to
get pity.
He's trying to get pity. He's trying to play on emotions. He's trying to play on subscribers. He's this new breed of internet user that just wants to create content and doesn't understand that it's all about what kind of content you create. Because anyone can create content.
Yeah, we are doing it right now.
We're doing it. And
it's not like we are good at it. But we're trying.
Yeah, we're creating content. Our budget is, let me count here, 30 cents. So anyone can create content. The idea is making good content. Like, we're trying to be a little introspective here and actually give a shit about what's going on, while this guy's going, lol, dick slider, stab, 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 look at me, I'm raiding.
Like, well, it all depends on what kind of audience you are trying to appeal to. Not everyone is going to go for the intellectual content. Not everyone is going to go for musical content. Not everyone's going to go for game content, right?
Well, absolutely, but I don't understand this feeling where in order to be a video games YouTuber, you have to have this nasal, annoying voice and you have to never shut up.
Well, you have to have energy, right? You have to engage your viewership in some way, and by being energetic, being bouncy, being showing off how enthusiastic you are about the product that you're playing, you get other people enthusiastic about the product that you're playing. So that's an important part of this ecosystem, I think.
I call it the ABCs of gaming YouTubing. Is you boot up the game, you talk out your ass about how it's this amazing new game, you start playing, and then you very loudly narrate your thought process on reading the tooltips and going, oh, I guess this does that. I wonder if we can do this. I wonder if
so you basically people. Have the product, energy, and engagement. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but does everyone have to cut and paste it?
Well, these are well, this is a successful formula. Look at Markiplier. Look at PewDiePie. These people are putting up a game, playing it, and narrating their thought process.
Whoa! You confused me there. You said you said successful. You said Markiplier, and then you said PewDiePie.
Yes. You're not going to tell me that 53 million followers is not successful.
No, I'm just saying making a stupid decision and getting yourself blackballed by Disney isn't successful. Losing 75% of your income overnight isn't successful.
Listen, if I earn $75 million or however many millions of dollars a year and lose 75% of that, I'm still well off by YouTube standards.
Okay, so PewDiePie can't buy 2 Bentleys instead of 3. So so he only has to buy 2 cars.
Well, he can buy 1 Bentley instead of 4.
Yeah. I mean, everyone...
He is successful.
But he's... No!
Yes! I think I think you lost your definition of successful.
I clearly have, because it's the same argument where our president went bankrupt a gajillion times. No, that's not being good. I get what you're saying. He's got numbers, he's got appeal, he's got viewership, but is he economically successful? I would say no, because PewDiePie
just because he failed,
a serious mistake, and not just one. It was a serious mistake compounded on by several minor mistakes.
Listen, just because the media does not get the context behind his jokes does not really mean that he failed.
Don't foist this on the media as if it's one guy in his basement going, "Oh, I finally got that Swedish kid." No, it's society doesn't like a kid who is telling all of their children to become a fucking Nazi.
He's not telling anyone to become a Nazi.
What do you think joking about that shit in front of a bunch of kids that don't understand context or reason? What do you think that's going to do?
Well, that's the only thing that this is going to do is it's going to make them the entire kerfuffle around it is going to make them more appeal to the entire Nazi agenda, because they see, oh, since he is a Nazi and he's clearly the underdog, well, I might emphasize for him. Ever thought about that?
Okay. You were explaining becoming a Nazi like becoming a stoner. Like, oh, don't smoke the weed, it's bad for you. You said smoke the weed, you said. No, there is a slight difference.
I guess. However, first of all, PewDiePie is not a Nazi. He was joking around. Yes, those jokes were in bad taste by his own admission.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that means he is unsuccessful.
Well, it doesn't.
I don't think that's the measure of success, to get your jokes passed. Right?
Look, he had a moment of success. He got to guest star on a South Park episode. He got a lucrative deal with Disney. He was successful.
He is still successful.
He pissed it away.
No, he didn't. He's still successful.
Look,
he still has platform. He still has viewership, and he still makes money.
We'll see where he is in 2 years. But I
yeah, it's not a moment, right? As you said, it's 2 years.
I think that he is not going to continue on very, very much longer. I mean, I knew he was running out of steam when he did that stupid joke where he was, oh, I'm going to delete my account. And, I mean, I knew at the back of his hand it was just a publicity stunt, because there's no way he's going to piss away all of his money. But he somehow managed to do it anyway. Like, he was dancing with fire. He was in a bull ring.
Listen, last time I checked on PewDiePie, he had 53 million subscribers.
You just checked
now
it
he
now,
has
didn't you?
Now he has 54.
Oh,
his viewership clearly is going up. It's not like he's losing subscribers. It's not the type of the what was those YouTubers that tried to copyright reaction? What was their name?
There are people that were trying to copyright reaction videos?
Yes, give me a second. Yeah, YouTubers reaction video controversy. That was...
Yeah, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This turned from bitching about specific YouTubers to just all YouTubers.
Yes. The Fine Brothers trademark. Kerfuffle. Yeah, that's the thing. Basically, Fine Brothers, which are of the X-Reacts fame, did commit themselves to a trademark. They try to trademark a reaction word and basically type of video, right?
Right.
And when they did that, the entire YouTube community turned against them, and there were like websites popping out all around that were tracking how far their subscriber base is going to fall. And that's a failure. That's what I consider a failure in terms of YouTube.
Well, yeah, that was just stupid.
I don't remember precisely the numbers, but they lost about 40% of their subscribers from like a couple of millions to just 1 million or something like that. That was a failure all across the board. PewDiePie, he failed, he lost some money, but he still has his fundaments, his platform. He can still.
He got his ass knocked to square one, buddy.
No, he not to square one. Square one is 0 subscribers. He has still 54 million now, and it's still going up.
No,
by thousands upon thousands every day.
You're thinking of a different board. I'm talking about the professional game board. He's on square one. He's just got his legion of fans. He doesn't have the deals. He doesn't have the
Listen, just because
Red, he doesn't have his Disney. He doesn't have.
Do you really think Disney didn't know about his anti-Semitic jokes? They did. The only reason why they the only reason why they had to cut their ties off is because media actually pointed it out to them. If Wall Street Journal never answered the call, it would stop.
Issue with the media, Jesus, and you.
I have no problem with the media. It's just what they did.
You for one, you're lumping them into one single entity called the media.
Well, I did say Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
right?
And let's keep it at Wall Street Journal because
so Wall Street Journal has a fraction of the viewer base as the PewDiePie does. They would kill themselves over his subscribers. And after the entire kerfuffle, guess what they did? They went to PewDiePie and they asked him, "Hey, would you like to come over to us? We would give you a platform to defend yourself." PewDiePie doesn't give a shit about their platform. He has platform. He worked fucking his ass off to get that platform. And he keeps it, and it's there, and it's his. And the only thing that this entire thing done to him was strengthen that platform.
Okay. I'm still not entirely convinced how, but
it's
you do pose a good argument.
Well, it wouldn't be a good talk show if we all just agreed with each other, right? I do concede that you have some points. Yes, he lost a lot of his money. Yes, that is a problem to him, and yes, he will have to work with that. But I think he is in a good position to bounce back.
Mm-hmm. So, moving on, Heroes of the Storm released another new character.
A fascinating new character, filled with backstory.
Well, here's the thing: is the Heroes of the Storm community has been asking for like a SCV or like just a constructor character. Basically, is a character that a lot like Heimerdinger does in League of Legends could basically just build up their little corner of the map and then dominate. And this is extremely useful in Heroes of the Storm because the maps are designed around the core tenet of every character is able to run into the jungle, do an objective, and be useful. It's not like League of Legends where only one type of character is allowed into the jungle, and you'll get banned if you go into the jungle as any other kind of character. It's not that kind of game. You're allowed to actually innovate with your characters in this game.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm is actually very built around the unpredictability of the map.
Absolutely.
And every single map has like different ways that you can succeed on it. So you never know ahead of time what kind of character is going to be useful. So they all have to be useful in some way.
Absolutely. that's probably why Heroes wins in my opinion. But anyway, so he has the typical Protoss probe abilities. He can as a trait he puts down his pylons, and as
First of all, let's say something about. Let's introduce the character itself. Probius the Probe.
Oh, since his activation, Probius, if you insist, Probius has always wanted to prove himself. He may be small, but he made a big difference by warping in a critical pylon during the retaking of Ire. As the bravest of probes, Probius is eager to fulfill his purpose in the Nexus. Oh, so he's not
Probius.
just a probe. He's the RTD2 of probes.
Yes, Probius is the little probe that could.
He is the little probe that could. What does his skins look like? Oh, that's kind of cool looking. I think that's just like the SEV for looking.
Yeah, it's like the Terran type of
there's
probe.
There's like the Terran probe. Whatever.
So yeah, Probius.
Probius is a specialist who seems to be focused on damage, rather complex. Their trait, as I said, he slaps down his pylons, slaps down his photon cannons. Just like StarCraft, the cannons have to be within the pylon's range.
Mm-hmm.
He can also weaponize a Protoss Warp Rift. He can slam one down, and then I believe he can trigger it. Yeah, it takes about a second and a fourth to arm. And then... yeah, you leave it, it slows people, and then you can hit it with your Disruption Pulse skill shot, and it blows up.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a versatile character, though.
Very defensive-minded.
Yeah.
Because I haven't jumped in and played as him yet. But
for me, this is the kind of character that you basically use to bunker up.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of maps that rely on characters always having to go to specific parts of the map every now and then. For instance, in the mines, everyone runs into the mines at every 6 minutes. So it makes sense to go down there a minute early and slam down all of your pylons and shit. And that way, when people run in, you can start harassing them.
Yeah, he's all about the denial for the enemy, the denial of passage, like with the null gate.
Yeah.
Or with photon cannon and pylon overcharge.
Well, both of his ultimates are pretty good. I lean towards pylon overcharge, I think, because I'm not a fan of the gates and wall. Because a lot of characters have gates and wall ultimates, and this one's actually kind of good. It slows for 80% as long as they're in it, so it's a snare, and they also take a bunch of damage per second.
Yeah, and pylon overcharge lasts for 10 seconds as opposed to the null gate that lasts for 4.
So you get a lot more damage per pylon. Because about 1,100 damage per pylon per second. Wait, for the ultimate. I'm still a little early. And apparently, this is how little I've been paying attention to Heroes of the Storm lately. They've released a gajillion other characters. Like, they finally released Zul'jin, the troll warlord. And also they released a half dozen characters that they made up for World of Warcraft that I've never heard of, that are just kind of filler. Like,
yeah, for example, the female Tyrael.
Yeah, I have no idea where she is from. I don't even... Ariel, the Archangel Angel of Hope. I don't...
Well, we have to be inclusive.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing: is I can't remember where. I think she is in Diablo 3 for a brief second. So it's kind that this one make kind of is fair. It's Alarak. Who the fuck is Alarak? Oh, he's got a Cthulhu skin. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, I guess he's from the newest Protoss expansion for StarCraft 2. He'd have to be.
Oh, I see. He is like the one of the Shadow Templars, right?
No, he's worse. He's I don't even know what the fuck the Tal'Darim are. Like, I have no idea what that storyline's about. Like, he's just a random character to me. Varian? Who the fuck is Varian? The Gladiator King of Stormwind City. What? Oh, he can change between being a warrior and an assassin. I swear, so many filler characters.
Well, the point is, it doesn't matter whether they are filler or not. The point matters is that whether they feel good while playing them. Whether the Heroes of the Storms always had a little bit of a hodgepodge feel to me, because of the premise behind it. So I can't really fault them for that. But yeah,
I'm really glad they put in Samuro, because that was one of the coolest parts of Warcraft 3 was when you fight the Black Rocks and the whole Orc Blade Master class is just like Orc Samurai, and it looks so cool.
Yep.
Like, yeah, he oh, and he of course has a proper Orc Samurai skin. He's got a monkey skin. He's got a Oni skin. Oh wow, in general that looks pretty. Yeah, he can do the mirror image. He's got his critical strike. He's got his windwalk. Yep. I approve. Moving on.
There's a lot about the Heroes of the Storm that they added that I really need to check out, because
they have
last
been
time
working
I played
really hard on it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I can see that there's a lot of effort that goes into this, because Blizzard always knows how to pumper up their games.
Oh yeah.
They put a lot of effort into the details.
Well, it's because they realize that it's more about making the mechanic. It's more than just making the mechanics work.
Mm-hmm.
That's something they learned through pioneering the MMO genre. They
pioneering, maybe not. They I think they improved they improved on the existing technology.
I mean, the issue with EverQuest is it was in the shadows, kind of like D&D was for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
There were people that were really addicted to it, like Raven, who is my housemate for a very long time. He had a period where he was extremely addicted to EverQuest, but World of Warcraft, everyone played. A lot of fucking just random people, kids in schools, and everyone was playing World of Warcraft, and it was insane.
Yeah, I remember that World of Warcraft, was such a big hit that people were like dying left and right playing the game to exhaustion. wasn't it in World of Warcraft when they introduced like a boss that took 48 hours for a guild to kill?
Yeah, there's like there's usually about 6 people a year that die playing World of Warcraft. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
So they they learned that there's the mechanics, there's the world, there's the social aspect, and through having so many social niches on their servers, they realized a lot about what it means to be a big game company. So they really owned it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Blizzard knew how to be a big gaming company even before World of Warcraft. They had a big hit with StarCraft. They had a big hit with both of the Warcraft series.
Well, anyone can have a hit,
Yeah.
but the real test is, can you build a
Can you build
giant
upon it?
fucking
Yeah.
community?
And they did.
And they did. Now, actually, moving on. D&D Beyond was announced this morning.
Yeah, we are talking about this pre-show. Initially, I thought about this to be like D&D tabletop.
Yeah, he thought
edition.
it was a table. He thought it was a virtual tabletop
simulator. Yeah.
That was, yeah.
But no.
It's actually the tool set. So here's the thing: is part of what killed fourth edition was they made it, in order to play online, they basically made it mandatory for you to go to subscribe to their website and get access to their character builder, and that way you're able to make your character all pretty. Because the thing about fourth edition is, if you were generating a character past level 1, it took forever to get all of your abilities chose and all of your statistics done, and everything's in different books.
I remember playing 4th edition. It was a nightmare. It was a lot of going through the various books, and the problem is, as you build your character like that, you forgot something. You go back, you change things, then some other things do not work, and it's a very bad problem with the compatibility that you're creating.
Yeah, it's D&D turned into a spreadsheet, and that's because the thing is, I started out with fourth edition. I played for like 4 or 5 months, and I started to get so tired of the spreadsheety nature. That's when I went back to 3.5, because I was collecting all the books, and it was about then that you met me, and and I played 3.5 hardcore up until 5th edition came out. I sat down with some family friends, and we played that, and I made the switch immediately. I was like, I like this. This is the new D&D. I accept this. So
a lot of people were harping on the 4th edition.
Well,
it's not real D&D. It was fun.
Well, I'm one of those people. On Reddit, for about 2 years, it wasn't acceptable entirely to bag on 4th, because it still slightly had support. And like, because a lot of people about once a week would ask, whether or not they should switch to fifth, and whether they should start on fourth or do questions like that. And I would go in going, well, fifth is better. Fourth was just a complicated World of Warcraft simulator. And people started replying to me going, well, you gotta stop with this bigotry and this hatred of fourth, and it's still D&D, and I don't care about your opinions, and it's better, and my game is better, yours is shit. And I'm like, oh, wow. Now you can go, yeah, 4th edition kind of sucked, and 20 people go, amen. So, and part of that is because 5th edition was such a good comeback. Because the playtest was available for some time, and it started out looking a lot like 4th, and then they listened to everything everyone was telling them, and it started gradually turning more and more into a hybrid between 4th and 3rd, which is kind of what it needed.
Yeah, what it should have been from the beginning. For all the bad things about 3rd edition, it had this feel that was important for a lot of players. And with 4th edition, they lost it. And 5th edition was a return to 4.
3.5 had this crazy, fantastical charm to it that no matter what setting you were playing, it had this just gnarly fantasy feel to it. And I remember one time I was playing with Mark Redding, and I rolled up it was like a fighter variant, and I used a human culture from the Northern Crown book. Wow, I think it's called Northern Crown. It was one of the Atlas Games setting books, but it was basically this like they were called witchlings. Like they're basically the gothic looking people that people accuse of being witches. And he had a big old Lucerne hammer, which is a big old war hammer, but it's got a spike on the top. It's for whacking people with reach. It's like a halberd warhammer type deal.
Makes sense.
So we were running through these like giant Castlevania style hallways and fucking smashing skeletons, and I was having so much fun. And part of it was because the game conjured that image. And then you go back to 4th edition, and it loses that in 4th edition. Is you sit there, you're looking at all these cards in front of you, and you're going, which card do I want to use? I'll use this card. Yeah. And you're not thinking about the setting. You're not thinking about where your character is. You're thinking about the cards in front of you.
I see your point, but then again, you have to realize that there is this there are people to whom this actually catered to. People who actually enjoyed that and they enjoyed that simply because it was simpler. It was easier to get into. And I know why Wizards of the Coast actually did it, because they wanted to appear to a broader audience, as cliche as it sounds.
Well, they appealed to a very specific niche, which is they wanted to grab those World of Warcraft kids.
Yeah, definitely. because World of Warcraft is an RPG, right? Like D&D. However, it's also dynamic, right? Well, didn't really work out for the
absolutely.
Wizards of the Coast.
Well, the thing is, it enlightened a bunch of people to the fact that they were playing something heavily based on D&D, and D&D was trying to appeal to them, going, "Hey, you can have all the fun of World of Warcraft, but in your house with all your friends."
And you don't have to pay monthly for it.
And you don't have to pay monthly for it. And that's appealing, and that appealed to a lot of people, because a lot of people that play it, when I ask them about it, they'll usually say something like, "Well, I have a guild on there. I talk to all my guild mates. That's my socialization. I have a bunch of friends. They're all over the world." That makes sense. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And however, there are ways to do the same thing cheaper. Like I've gamed with people all over the world at this point, and barely paid a fucking thing.
Yep, and it arguably it's more fun.
Yeah, because I've typically get tapped to play GM now. It's kind of my thing.
And yeah, you do a lot of GMing.
I do, and it yeah, I haven't been a player in a while at this point. I've almost forgot how.
Well, you have a very good how to call it, imagination. You know all the rules that go into being a DM, and you can come up with a lot of shit on the fly, which arguably makes for the best type of roleplay.
Yeah, I hesitate to go to say best. However, I feel that leaning on the improv part of Dungeons and Dragons helps make the experience. Because there are a lot of people that request modules, especially new DMs, and
mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good way to learn. Because the thing about the modules is they've done a lot of the imagination part for you. They've made up all the shit so you don't have to. You just have to roll with it. And the temptation is to read it as it says right there. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make it your own. It's book guidelines. Like, there's this guy complaining about Out of the Abyss. He was a new player, and his GM thought it would be a brilliant idea to put a group of newbies against Out of the Abyss, which is more or less designed for the old guard. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, the main part of his post was complaining that his party was just not really that interested. They were like on their phones and shit. But anyways, so the D&D Beyond, I have no idea whether or not it's going to be free, but it seems to have all of the game rules in it, so more likely than not it's going to be a subscription-based thing. This isn't a charity.
Yeah. I think well, it's definitely going to help all those DMs who struggle with their players to have like to bring their character sheets, to keep them updated, to keep them like in line with the rules. However, I see a bit of a problem there with all the homebrew content.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be an issue.
Fourth edition suffered from... The 4th edition tool set also suffered from this. I remember in 4th, I tried jamming 4th a few times, and when I would try to make up a new item for them, it would confuse the living balls out of people because they would look for it in the book and then go, what does it do? And because in 4th edition, all items are always identified because it's a super fantasy world where where your cook down the street uses a knife of +7 smiting to fucking chop pork.
A knife of +7 to pork chopping.
Went to a dark place there. Okay, so
Really? Okay.
It's got some. I did. It's got the spells with all of the information on it. That's pretty fantastic. It's got the character builder, and for the phone, you can put. It's got a beautiful little character sheet thing right there. It's got the buttons for you to check all your saves and shit. It's got buttons to check your equipment. It's got buttons to look at your attack bonuses. Character sheet right in your fucking palm.
You know what? It would be actually quite nice to have not just like a character sheet on your phone, but also dice, tabletop on your tablet. That would actually bring the entire game together. You could go take your tablet, take your phone to your session, to like a store where a lot of people play, or to your friend's house, and set up your tablet so that you can see what's happening in the game world, and you have your character sheet and your dice on your phone, so you can actually create a game that would be more like a video game, but also help your DM much more in terms of creating the world, creating the story, planning everything out. That would be actually kind of cool. And I don't know if they're going towards that, but I think that's definitely a good place to go.
I mean, I like the fact that you can build a character so quickly on the phone now, because building characters for 5th edition, very fast, very easy, very fun. Which, again, it needed.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point where I could make 3.5 characters fairly quickly, but it still took a while because I had to look up a bunch of shit. 5th edition character, really easy, because the most intensive thing you have to do is roll your stats. Because from
what
there...
was it? 3d6 plus 6?
46, and you drop lowest.
And drop lowest, nice.
That's what I do. Because from there, you just go, okay, well, pick whatever class I want, pick whatever race I want, pick whatever background I want. Make those 3 choices, boom, you have a character.
More or less.
Yeah, and that is awesome. It really is. Being able to do that on a phone is going to make it even better, because you could potentially have a character in less than 5 minutes on your phone now. Like that's big for
DMs, basically.
Well,
especially for those who
this is
start
going
the
to
first
really
session.
help Adventure League, because Adventure League just is not supported in my town. Is there are 2 game stores. There's Legends up in Capitol, and then there's Mythic downtown. Both of them only have Magic events. They don't do D&D.
I see.
And that's because that's what all the kids want to play. They all play Magic.
Magic.
I was responding to Reddit articles the other day in the library on the computers, and a kid taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Do you play Magic?" I go, "No, I don't. I play Dungeons and Dragons.
I play a real game.
I play a real
man's game. Man's game.
Bitch, you play a card saying you throw a fireball. I do it."
So, what else do we have on our agenda? Is that it?
No, we get to discuss the topic of death.
Oh, the answers nobody wanted.
We have answers that no one wanted. Today's answers are...
We remain on the topic of D&D.
Yeah, well, that's because that's the Reddit that I look into. I mean, I'm going to start looking through the Shadowrun Reddit every week now, too, because for some reason people are posting fairly easy to answer questions this week.
So, the question for today, how do you feel about death in D&D?
Yeah, so Canaria Rose writes, as either a player or DM, I love my character to death, connect with her on several levels. After all, she's an entity that sprung from my mind, and thus, pardon me, I would be absolutely heartbroken. That being said, I'm not sure I would want the option to revive her, certainly not an infinite number of times. I felt suspense and tension what she does when she's been in potentially fatal situations. I think that her mortality really helps me play her a bit more realistically. I DM on and off for the group. If it ever comes up, I think I'll allow it, make it way hard, a one-time deal. I'm not sure she knows how resurrection works. I actually made an artifact that has a price for a tuning note. If you die after you tune it, nothing can ever bring you back, ever. Okay. Thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think that death in D&D, or in any pen and paper, is something that should be expected. If you do not expect that your character is going to die, or at least there's a way for the character to get back, that takes away from the experience.
This is one of my arguments for heckling 4E is fucking people that try to glamp through D&D. Glamping is glam camping. It's where rich people like get these amazing tents and they like have food brought to them and water. Basically, they go camp but don't actually camp. So the people that run through trying to god mode it, thinking, oh, nothing will ever bad will happen ever, they're trying to glamp through D&D, and it's not gonna work.
Yeah, when it comes to D&D, I feel like it's important to feel the excitement of the game, right? You go play the D&D, and you feel when your character is in danger that the character is in danger, and you have to. There's this heart-pounding kind of feeling there. you start thinking about strategies. You start thinking about all those different ways to keep your character alive. And it really builds up on the imagination for the player itself. Part of me actually wants to get into more dangerous situations in our Shadowrun campaign. However, I know better, and I got a lot of excitement already.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Well, when it comes to this post, there are a lot of assumptions being made. For one, this person seems completely addicted to the idea that once you die, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's true in real life, it's not quite so when your local cleric knows how to raise dead.
Yeah, that also depends on the setting. If the setting is high magic, then yeah.
There are settings where it's like Athos. I'm pretty sure in Athos, Dark Sun, resurrection is shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one I'm thinking of. If the name can come to me, it's been smoked away. Sorry. All right. Point being that in 5th edition, when a character dies, their soul goes to the plane that usually shares their alignment and will accept them.
Mm-hmm.
And if none of the higher planes will accept them, they're probably going to one of the lower planes.
I see.
And the higher planes are heavenly style places, like there's a Mount Olympus style place. There's a Valhalla type of place, Isgard. There's Arborea. There's all sorts of good places where good people go when they die. And then there's the lower places like Inferno and the Abyss and whatever that prison plane is called. Places where evil, shitty people go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you can... I'm assuming you can pull people out of those planes.
Yeah, the thing is the lower planes usually have some way of transforming the soul into some kind of monster.
Oh, I see.
So if you don't act fast enough, you won't have a soul to bring back. Mm-hmm. And worst case scenario, something else comes back.
I believe in earlier versions of D&D they solved it by saying that if your body decays, then you can't really count on you resurrecting a person.
Yeah, resurrection it doesn't always work. It is for the higher level spells the limit's like 100 200 years, and there are other resurrection spells that have a limit of you have to cast it within 10 minutes.
I believe wishes would work, right?
If there's a soul left, yeah. I mean, if the soul gets turned into a lemur or something, then you're fucked. If it turns into a larva, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. But it also brings us to the point that the soul also has to be willing to come back.
Yeah.
If it goes to wherever it's going and it likes where it is, or it gets convinced that it likes where it is, it's not going to want to come back. Yeah. And I believe they also know some facts about the person raising them. Like, I believe they know the alignment of the caster.
Oh, I see. So that they know, for example, that evil necromancer is not trying to resurrect them.
Yeah.
To get information out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to check that up, but I'm pretty sure they wrote that in. So there are several ways it can go wrong.
Oh, definitely.
For instance, your barbarian might get stabbed several times in the heart, die, go to Isgard or however you pronounce it.
The Valhalla place.
The Valhalla place, and then go, you know what? This is awesome. I'm home. And then the party's going, okay, let's get our barbarian back. Let's spend 3,000 gold or whatever to raise him. Doesn't work. They go, we need our barbarian.
Too bad. He likes where he is.
So there are plenty of ways to explain that your character doesn't want to be raised.
Yeah. Also, let's return a little bit to the original question. Well, how do you feel about the fact that about death indeed? When I remember one of my characters who was like 5th edition Dragonborn cleric, I believe. He was raised, but the problem with his he died. He got raised. However, the way he got raised basically cut him completely off from the adventure, because he came back as an invalid. His legs were completely shot to hell, and the character himself was, I got shot, got an arrow to the knee. I'm no longer adventuring. That's also a way to bring the character back, know that it's not dead, but at the same time have him leave the
I believe it's in Unearthed Arcana. There's a Revenant template that you can add that either replaces your subrace or gives you a subrace. And you have your mission, right? And you and your character has your mind on the mission, and once you do your mission, you've done what you've been powered to do, and you once again die.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the thing about Dungeons and Dragons is it is a fantasy world where law is limited to civilization. There are creatures all around that are killing each other, eating each other, building settlements, destroying settlements. This is all going on all over the globe. So there will be casualties. There will be many casualties. Like there was an NPC in one game where he was supposed to give the party information after a fight. However, I rolled an attack against him and he got critted and fucking destroyed. So And so I was like, not saving you. You're dead. They don't.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's this video for a game called Dragon Strike that was a board game that was very D&D like, and it came with this video, and part of the video at the end is general tips on playing the dungeon master. And a lot of it's actually fairly good advice, like if the party is going to slay one of your monsters, don't if a monster is going to die, resist the temptation to save it.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. And to role play, to find voices for your characters, that sort of thing. It was quite helpful.
Yeah, I would actually like to give a little bit of a shout out to another YouTube channel. Give me a second here.
Oh, we do hours of prep work. Don't worry.
No, it's not like we are completely winging it as we go. Keep talking.
All right. So, death. It hasn't happened to me yet, surprisingly. I don't think any of my characters have died. However, I'd be fairly okay with it happening. It's just something that will occur. It's part of the risks of running in with a sword. And I don't know. An artifact that where the price is, nothing can bring you back ever.
Also, something that might actually help the player swallow the bitter pill of their character dying is making that death actually mean something in the story.
Yeah, death should mean something.
Yeah, it should be an epic send-off.
Matthew Mercer has this rule where if you die, you get your own little amount of time to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does that with crits too. Is you have to explain your crits.
I see.
And yeah, I'm of the feeling where if the character dies, it should be for some kind of purpose. Now,
there we go. The channel that I've been looking for. Sorry about interrupting you. Is the Matthew Colville channel.
Matthew Colville.
He is a very interesting DM, very old school. He provides. He's also a part of. He's also a game writer. So the way he explains how to DM, how to play, how to create experiences is actually incredibly educational. He's talking about different books that you can source, and the importance of basically ripping off better writers.
Oh yes.
Especially when it comes to DMing, right? It's always good to, if you read a story and there's a very nice character there, there's nothing really stopping you from ripping it off completely, because it's okay. For a circle of friends, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you're sitting there in your house, you're making a story. It's nothing wrong with borrowing from other. It's in writing too. It's a lot how, like, how scientists swap their thesis around and they write counter thesis and they write papers and refutations, and they're all working off of each other.
Yeah.
Musicians do it, artists do it, writers do it. Everyone does it because that's how the craft goes forward. Is everyone is developing these little tricks and styles and flourishes, and they're seeing what works.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to post the link to his channel with the doobly-doo.
I see. You're using the technical term. I see.
Yes, the doobly-doo. Yeah, a lot of people are calling it the doobly-doo.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend walked in the other day and said, "Hey, I need you to shove this in your doodly-doo." And I went...
And what? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's this guy. Yeah. I linked to him to you before because I believe that was one of his episodes on what was it? On the Game Mastering series.
I will check that out later.
Okay.
After the doodly-doo. Okay, I think that's the majority of what she... Well, I'm just assuming this is she, really. There are these two girls I DM'd for, and they were young and emotional. So they were really getting into the games. However, I felt like if they got like severely wounded or hurt, they'd seriously like freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because of their gender. That's because of
emotional investment.
Getting really invested. Yeah, like when I was young, I'd get really invested in this shit too, and you get invested in the books, you get invested in all that. Nothing wrong with that. But getting too invested when you want to kind of live and learn, and the best thing about D&D is you always live and learn because you're not actually in danger.
Yeah, that's the good part of the D&D. You actually experience the threat, the excitement, but you do not experience directly the danger.
Yeah, you're able to prepare your mind for situations that you're never going to actually experience.
Yeah, like a dragon attack.
Yeah. I don't have to run faster than a dragon. I just have to run faster than you.
Yeah, faster than the slowest party member.
Yeah, I bet the fucking the forest gnome druid feels smart now. Oh wait, they're galloping ahead of us in moose form. I love how moon druids are basically Beast Boy in 5th edition.
Oh, interesting. They have that much shape-shifting ability, eh?
Yeah, moon druid is the wild shape specialization, and they can get up to 6th. They can get up to the point where they can transform into CR6 stuff near the end of their careers, and they start off being at 3rd level, being able to turn into first CR1 critters. So they start off being able to turn into some pretty strong shit. Well, I don't see anything else in here major, and that's everything I have prepared. So, thank you for joining us. We will be back in next week.
We'll do our best to be as exciting as today.
Exciting!